How do you turn this 360 panorama into this 3D virtual tour, complete with a model and a floor plan? So today I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial on how to do exactly that using the completely free creator plan of Metareal Stage. Feel free to follow along. You can download this 360 panorama by going to the link in the description, and make sure to log into your Metareal Stage account. If you don't have an account yet, just go to metareal.com and click sign up here so you can make a free account. Now what we're going to do to make our tour is to create the new project, upload our photo to that project, create a room from our photo, add our room to our tour, then last, publish our tour. So to do the first step, let's create a new project. Just click here and this window is going to pop up. And now I can choose which components I want to include in my project. So floor plans are always required, so that's always going to be checked. Now I want to include a 3D model with my tour, so I'm going to check that as well. And of course I want my 3D tour. I don't want to publish to Google Street View, so I'll leave this unchecked. And once I'm happy with that, I'll just click create. Okay, so now we have our new project and we're in the project dashboard. I'll just rename this to, my first tour, so I can find it again later. Oops, my first tour. And to make our lives easier, let's configure the project settings. So go to the room section and click default settings. And I'm just going to make sure that my units are in metric. And I want my 3D model to be about mid resolution. And I want high quality textures. I also want to set my lens height to 1.6 meters because that was my lens height when I took my photo. Now, having the proper lens height is really important when making tours with Metareal Stage. It's the primary value we look at when determining the measurements in your tour, so make sure to record your lens height accurately while you're shooting your photos. If you don't know how to properly calculate your lens height, I'll leave a link on how to do that in the description. Now, for everything else, I'm happy with that, so I'll just click apply here and wait for our settings to load. And now that we've configured our settings, let's upload our panorama. So I'll just go to source images over here and click upload. Now Metareal Stage accepts any 360 panorama as long as it's a PNG or JPEG file. And as you can see, you can import from Dropbox, Google Drive, or your local files. Since I saved my photo in my local downloads folder, I'll just click here and select it and hit upload. So now let's just wait for Metareal Stage to finish processing our photo. Okay, so now our pano is ready. Time to build our room. To do that, just hover over our photo and this little checkbox is going to appear. Just check that to select this photo and click new room over here. Now Stage is going to create a new room with our photo as the main reference. Now we're in the room editor where we're going to prep our photo and draw our room. First, let's rename this room to, first room. Now let's prep our photo. And now we're going to make sure that the lines on our photo are actually straight, meaning this is actually horizontal and vertical. And to check horizontal alignment, we're going to activate the grid over here under visual guides. And now this grid pattern has appeared on our screen. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that the lines over here match with the lines on the floor. So to fix that, we're going to toggle show alignment tools over here, and this red line will appear on our screen, which we call the orientation line. And we're just going to drag the orientation line until it matches a long stretch of floor edge. Okay, there. And now the grid is more aligned with our room. Okay, next for vertical alignment, I'm going to make sure my panorama is level. So first let's deactivate this because we're done with that. Then we're going to switch to leveling view. And now this vertical grid has appeared on our screen. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that the vertical lines in our room are actually matching with this one. And as you can see, that's not really the case here. So down below, it's already flush with the grid, but at the top, there's still a gap. So that means our photo is actually diagonal. So to make it straight, I'm going to click Draw Level Line over here. And then I'm going to click the top of the line in our photo. And then I'm going to move down and again click at the bottom. Okay, and now you can see that this one is actually matching with the vertical line on our grid. So I'm just going to go around the room and add a few more level lines. So over here. And then another one. Oops, wait, just confirming. So you can click the top and then drag it if you feel like you didn't put it properly. Okay, and then last one, just add a level line over here and click at the bottom. And yep. Okay, so now our photo is level. So I can switch this off. And then I'll look at the other settings. Lens height, we already changed that in the project settings. Nadir radius, let's switch back to panorama view so we can look down. And the nadir is this circle over here. And ideally, you want it to cover the legs of your tripod. So in this case, it's not doing that. So I'm going to extend this a bit by clicking measure. And then clicking anywhere I want. And then just moving my mouse until it's covering the legs and then clicking again. And now our nadir radius has changed. And I'm happy with all the other settings. Calibrate is for if you know the exact measure of a spot of your floor. Like for example, you know that this spot, let's say, is exactly 3 meters. So we can change that to 3 meters. Click measure over here and then click and then click. And it's going to automatically adjust all the measurements on your panel. But we don't really need that right now, so I'm just going to click undo over here, or you can also click Ctrl Z if you want to undo. And now that we're done prepping our photo, we're going to move into drawing our floor. To do that, I'm going to click the draw tool over here, and then I'm going to click a floor corner over here. So over here would be nice. Wait, I'm going to press escape and then click and drag this until I'm happy with the positioning. Okay, about there. And then what I'm going to do is add another floor point over here, trying to make it straight as best as I can. But if you zoom out, you'll see that it's not really perfectly straight. But ideally, you don't want there to be any gap between these two lines. So that means I didn't do this properly. I'm going to press escape again, and then I'm going to click this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate my protractor by pressing the 1 key. And now, as you can see, if I try to move my mouse, the line is automatically going to follow the degrees on my protractor. So if I just drag it over here, I know this one is going to be perfectly straight. And as you can see, there's no gap at all between the two lines. So I'm just going to move it again and then add another corner over here. Okay, and then for my last corner, I'm just going to activate protractor 2 as well by pressing the 2 key, or you can also activate it over here. Snap, snap. So protractor 1 and 2. And now, when I try to mark my corner, I know this one is perfectly perpendicular to this line and this line. So I know my room, if I switch to plan view, is going to be perfectly square. So I'm happy with that. And if you're wondering why exactly the orientation line is aligned this way, that's because it matches the grid, which, as you remember, we changed using the red line. Okay, and by the way, if you accidentally added a point over here, you can just select it and then you can press delete over here and it's going to delete that point. Okay, now that we're done adding our last corner, what we're going to do is we're just going to adjust our ceiling height by hovering over this, and once it's green, just clicking and dragging until it's flush with the ceiling. So now, that's our room done. We've built the floor and we've laid out the walls and the ceiling. So now we're just going to go back and add this room to our tour. You can see the room we just made over here. Now to add it to our tour, let's go to our tour editor by clicking Edit Tour. Now we can see our floor plan. Right now it's empty, so to populate it, let's just click and drag our room over here to the canvas. And there we have our floor plan. We can also see our model view by switching to model view over here. And according to our notification, we need to press the refresh button to see it. So let's just click this. And let's just wait a while for our geometry and textures to load. So there's our initial preview. And if we wait a bit more, it's going to load our high quality textures. And there's our model. And to see our tour, let's go to preview. And now we can configure exactly what people are going to see when they view our tour. So first, because first impressions are important, let's decide on a starting point. I think this one would be a nice view. So I'm going to click set over here. And now whenever someone loads our tour, this is going to be the first thing they see. Then yes, I want to start in my tour, although I can start in model view as well, and that will make my tour start from here. But going back to that, then I can show or hide the menu components over here. So I can disable my floor plan and model if I want, so I can't switch to other parts, but I want to leave those open. And the room chooser, since we only have one room in our tour, it's not really necessary. So I'm just going to disable it. And for measure tools, so we can use this to add measurements to spots in our tour. And yes, I want to leave that activated. Show title and location. Yep, so I want to configure my title to see my first tour, and then location can be TBD. And for panorama locators, I only have one tour, so it's not really necessary as well. Field of view. This is how much I want my viewers to be able to zoom in and out of my tour. So if I want to limit this so they don't see like individual grains on these on this wall, I'll just move this to say this is I think a comfortable zoom. Then for zooming out, let's just limit it to, I'd say about here would be nice. Okay, so now that's their field of view range. For tour thumbnail, it is basically your preview image, something your viewers can see before they see your actual tour. So maybe you want a nice welcome banner, or any image you like, as long as it's a PNG or a JPG file. Okay, and I'm happy with that, so I'm going to click publish over here, and yep, publish to the web. Now we can go back to our project dashboard. And as you can see, we have a new section over here, published versions, and this is where all our tour links are going to show up. So once the status is green, that means it's ready. So I can click on this URL and I'll be able to see my tour. So here's our preview image, and when I click OK, and now I'm in my tour. So I can look around, I can make this full screen, I can add measures if I want. I can also switch to model view and plan view. And now if I want to share this tour with other people, all I have to do is copy this link and share this wherever and with whoever you like. All they have to do is click on the link and they'll be able to see your tour as well. If you have a website, you can also embed your tour. Just hover over here and click on this share button, and you'll get this HTML snippet. So all you have to do is copy and paste this code to your website and you'll be able to have this tour embedded on your page. It's going to look like this. And that's your first Metareal tour done. Now what we did is just a really basic tour. You're probably going to encounter very few real life projects that are this simple. Next video, we're going to build on what we learned today. So you're not just stuck in this one panorama. You can jump through 3D space to other panoramas in your room, like this. So you have this nice transition effect like you're actually moving inside the room. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, happy tour building!